We find this out. Jalen Milroe has accepted an invitation to attend the 2025 NFL Draft in Green Bay. It's usually reserved for folks that are expected to go in the first round. Here is Daniel Jeremiah from the Up and Adams show on that fact.
How do I interpret that? Because he's not a lock to go in the first round, is he?
No, not at all. I think it would be a surprise if he went in the first round. But there's been, you hear all kinds of stuff during these last few weeks, and one of the teams I have heard him connected to is Cleveland. So that's not going to be up there, where Cleveland's picking at the top of the first round. But in kind of that, let's get the fifth-year option scenario, let's try and get back in and take one late. Maybe potentially that's where he could fall in. I thought he was pretty much a lock to be a day 2 pick at some point in time. But the fact that he's going to the draft, I don't know the reasoning there. I haven't seen the entire list. Is there a want to have some guys there for the second night, or is he the one name that just looks kind of like, wow, that one's kind of out of left field a little bit for surrounded by other guys we assume will go in the first round.
I'd like to see Cleveland trade up in there from the top of the second. I'd be down for that. Otherwise, I don't know why he'd go.
I think Cleveland's going to get a quarterback with one of their first 2 picks, and I don't think it's going to be their first one. So I think the question is, do you be patient? Are you comfortable with a few of these guys where you can just sit and wait? Or do you get a little antsy, a little jumpy, and maybe want the 5th year, or do you come back in? So, again, I think Cleveland will end up with another quarterback on their roster. We'll see what happens with Cousins, out into the future. But I do think they'll get a young guy.
And Jeff, again, 5th-year option, there's a number of reasons to do it. You just, if I'm Andrew Berry, I don't want to give a lot of draft capital away to move from 33 to wherever I'm moving if it isn't for Cam Ward.
Oh, that certainly makes sense. And the thing here, and I think players and camps and agents don't necessarily view attending the draft the way that maybe it used to be. You usually knew, you'd see a mock draft, you'd see the top 10, 15 players, and you really kind of knew the names that would go. I think, maybe some guys are just opting to maybe celebrate this a little bit more with family, extended family, teammates, et cetera, et cetera. What I can tell you, this falls in line with everything you hear about Jalen Milroe. Like, people just say he's like the type of young man that just does not say no. So when he was asked, and even understanding that, hey, this could be a case where you don't necessarily get drafted Thursday night. It could be a Friday night thing. But Jalen Milroe is just the kind of kid that you ask, he says, yes, this is the way he is. You do find it interesting that, most of where you see, if there was a betting aspect to it, it would be 3.5 quarterbacks to go in round 1. So that's where you maybe get, hey, maybe that is why, you're going to have Jalen Milroe, though. We know Sanders is going to spend it with his family. But Milroe is really interesting. You take in the fact that he is 1 year younger than Shedeur Sanders. He's a lot more athletic, most athletic quarterback in this draft. That's not even close, obviously. You also know that he's got a really strong arm. And a lot of people, well, the short game, the underneath. Well, I got to be honest. I'd rather try to work with that than to have to try to, create more velocity, create better arm strength. That's stuff that's a little, you really almost can't do. So if you're saying it's refining and it's just continued, effort, but putting in effort, all the things that we hear Jalen Milroe is certainly capable of, but then you say, okay, well, even if it's the short completions, 3rd and 4th or whatever, okay, well, he's a threat with his legs to get it with his legs. He's a threat to create a passing lane with his legs, throwing the ball on the run. There's a lot to like about Jalen Milroe. Understand, accuracy is huge. There's no question as far as a negative. You don't want that. But all the other traits are kind of what you dream of when you build your perfect quarterback. So if that's something you're going to have to work with, I'll take, the 4.4 or less speed. I'll take the fact that he weighs almost 230 pounds. I'll take the fact that he's got a rocket right arm. I mean, that's all what you're looking for. Refinement, that's supposed to come on coaching, and that's supposed to come with technique. It's not a terrible idea. It really is not, to think that maybe Jalen Milroe and the Browns could sync up.
Yeah, and again, if I'm the Browns, I want that 5th-year option on him because it is going to be longer developmentally. I just don't want to have to give up. I want to move to 32. I want to move up 1 spot into the first round and give up as little as possible.
Oh, in a perfect world, you come back Friday night, take him at 33 and, hunky dory. There's part of me that thinks that maybe 4 quarterbacks go in round 1. The entire key to this all, though, in my opinion, is going to be, of course, the New Orleans Saints and what they do at 9. Because if New Orleans takes the second quarterback off the board by 9, now whatever teams are thinking quarterback probably are saying to themselves, well, there's 2 left of what we felt was the upper echelon. And you know what? I ain't sitting around and waiting 30 picks for him.